Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. This is Brainstorm, once again bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. You're exploring the business side of this newly emerging economy, focusing on the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and this week we're highlighting Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Find him at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216. Welcome back, cannapreneurs. Welcome to show number 77 of the Cannabis Community Project. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. It's been a great week for me. I've been out at more events, more networking events, more activities out and about in the community, making connections so I can bring them to you with their stories. This week we have Brittany Rohr from checkout.com telling us her story about building her business in the industry here. Out of Las Vegas, Nevada, she's going to give us the insights to what it took her to start her business and get up and going. Just like everybody else out there, there's stories to be told and stories to learn from. So make sure to contact us if you have a story. Last week we heard from Emmett from Buddy Bong. The week before that, Adam from the Buds app. This week we have Brittany with her app. And next week we're going to have another one. And that's how it's going to go. Week after week, we're going to keep finding more people, having them tell their story to inspire all of us, or hopefully just some of us, to also start our business and take action and do something for this community that few thought would be possible. We also have a segment from Chris Syndicate, who's out and about again on his own, producing his own segments. What'd you think of last week's segment? He did all right, right? He did a pretty good job, getting better week by week. I'll let that segment take place in just a second here, because like always, we need to remember what we learned last week so we don't forget about it with our short-term memory flashback relapse to last week's show with Emmett South from the Bong Buddy, telling us how he took his own savings of $12,000 and started this company on his own, investing 100% in himself from himself. That's an inspirational story. Let me give you just a couple minutes right now. Go back, listen to the full episode. Wherever you listen, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever, make sure to leave a comment, like the page, subscribe to the page, do all the things online that help our show move on up the line. That's how we work as a community. That's how we stay together. And that's how we're all going to succeed. So here we go. Here's a couple minutes of last week's show. Then we'll jump right in to this week's show.
I'm in Chicago, Illinois, right outside the city. Originally, I was born and raised in Virginia, and then I moved here next month. My mom's whole side of the family is out here, so I moved out here and hung out in my aunt's basement for a couple months, and then ended up getting the job that I'm at now. All right, well, I'm Emmett South, owner of Bong Buddy Incorporated, and we just launched our first of many products, which is Bong Buddy, the ultimate lighter leash for your bong. Right now, it's just me. My girlfriend helps me with social media and things like that. I had no knowledge to this point in this specific industry. I'm director of operations and IT for the company I work for now. For the past 6 years, I've been all about problem solving and management, so I know how a company runs in that aspect. So right now, everything up to this point was out of my own pocket. And going forward, now that I know what I need to do and cheaper ways to do things. It's really not turning out to be nearly as expensive as the first time. Interesting, and I still don't have it totally ironed out. But yeah, it's a mix between making calls, sending emails, and just cold sending samples to retail stores and dispensaries and smoke clubs or lounges. Surveying, I'm a big surveyor. I don't want to do anything with the company unless it's what people want the company to do and are going to respond well to. So I spend a lot of time doing that and talking to people on our social networking sites as well as our existing customers. That's very time consuming. So many people go into business, and I found myself doing this at first. You know, you think you have this brilliant idea, and it probably is a really good idea. But if the idea doesn't sell and you put $12,000 or $15,000 or however much you put into it, and it doesn't actually sell, then not only have you lost the money, but you don't feel good. If there's anything in the future that I can contribute, I'd love to.
Cool, I appreciate that.
I'm Emmett South with Bong Buddy Inc. Our website is www.bongbuddyinc. That's INC.com. And all of our social media is at Bong Buddy Inc.
Very cool, man. I appreciate your time, and I really look forward to seeing how you grow. If you have an idea, a business, perhaps just some thoughts about cannabis, contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to discuss these issues: health, food, music, growing, technology, business, everything else. CCP.
Herbbox is an independent organic company bringing style and class to the cannabis community with an exquisite, superior handcrafted medical and recreational container for the consciously cultural professional and the stiletto stoner. Herbbox is breaking down the stereotypes while bringing social awareness and fashionable credibility to the cannabis movement and business. Visit our website at herbbox.com, which is HERBBOXX.com. That's HERBBOXX.com. There you can see our magnificent boxes, read our blog, sign up for our future newsletter, and inquire about any future career opportunities. And be sure to like us on Facebook. Once again, thank you. Cheers.
So tell us, what do you got going on today? You've obviously been doing a lot of things. Tell us about it.
We are doing a lot. Women Grow Denver is having their events at DU, which is a fabulous venue, and we have phenomenal speakers who come in that talk to cannabis enthusiasts, whether they are already business owners or they're interested in getting started. We fully support women entrepreneurs at any stage that they're at. I am starting a cannabis nonprofit, and I am the chapter chair for Women Grow Denver. I go around meeting people, hearing their stories, seeing what they're doing, like how they're interacting within the environment, whether it's good or bad, the problems they're having, the successes they're having, because everybody's doing the same thing. And my big soapbox, and then I'll get off, is that it has to be full cannabis. I don't like that argument that it's only CBD, it's only hemp, it's only this, it's only that. Cannabis is the umbrella, and everything that falls under it has to be supported, because we can't let some politician or somebody who just doesn't have a clue decide that this little segment is okay, but not. You've got the CBD that works great for the kids with epilepsy, but the kids with cancer need THC in there.
Exactly.
And so you can't pick and choose. You can't do that, and you can't, because once those laws are in effect, it's really hard to change.
Well, we've seen how slow change to come.
Absolutely.
Change has been to come so far.
Right.
It's taken decades to get cannabis as legal as it is already.
Absolutely.
And just only recently recognized on the federal level by, Obama taking it off of Schedule 1, various other things going on.
Oh, that would just be so great, right? I don't understand. And I get logically, I get the arguments, but I just don't wrap my head around the logic of it because it just doesn't make sense. But the nice thing about Women Grow is that we're looking to put a professional face on it, and so the conversation with the tech guy and there's people out there who have professional jobs. They don't have to be doctors and lawyers. You have plumbers and electricians and you have people who do serious, respectable jobs.
Yes.
That smoke pot.
Doctors, lawyers, IT guys, cable guys,
and it doesn't diminish their capacity. I mean, there's things where, you probably don't want your surgeon to be stoned out of his mind, but,
no.
I don't care if my electrician...
Unless he's all freaking out and got the trembles, then I'm like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But,
that's a different line.
That makes me crazy. It's just because you hear somebody smokes pot, it's like, you can't judge.
Yep.
And that's what Women Grow is about. It's about supporting women in the industry, people who identify as women, and people who support women. And so we've got men involved. It's not just women.
That's what I was going to ask. You help men grow too?
We do, because it's all about people who are starting in the industry. It is basically a brand new industry, and everybody is looking at Colorado to see what happens. Because we are the only ones that have the medical, we have the recreational, that we have established, and so we are at a point where we're kind of going to that second tier of problems.
Yes.
Where businesses are established, people are starting to live with it. So now we're looking at, well, are we going to have bullying in schools now that the schools are allowed to have cannabis? Well, how are we educating administration and the school nurses and the parents, and how are we going to that next level? Because right now, the people who are coming here medicinally are hopefully getting their help, but what's that next step?
Absolutely.
There's the social workers, and there's how do you go past that? Now you have your medicine.
Yep.
What's next? Because this is just people living everyday life. Everybody takes medication, or if they take medication, it shouldn't derail them from doing anything else that they want to do with their life. Whether,
Absolutely.
And so to be able to live your normal life, to go on, the kids want to go to school, they shouldn't be held back from that. I mean, there's so many issues, and it's great to see. I love everything. I love the arguments, love the progression, I love, the good and the bad. I think it's fascinating. There's a lot going on, and aside from Women Grow, one of the things I'm advocating for is my nonprofit is bringing other nonprofits together and to bring oxygen and light to their system. So you have a lot of them will be small individual, whether they were made to help cover hospital expenses or turn into a memoriam, or it's like one thing and they really feel strongly about cancer.
Yes.
Then we can affect change.
Right.
And message is louder and stronger. And so that's what we want to do. In Colorado Springs, we have cannabis refugees.
Yes.
Amy handles that. We've got, Grow for Vets. We've got, Weed for Warriors. There's all these organizations that are really doing great things. You've got the one for Charlottesville, Realm of Caring. So they really...
Illegally Healed was another one I think
they
I came across.
are phenomenal.
Yes. Yeah, I've been tracking them.
You've got people who are doing the right thing for the right reason, and they're working around the best way they can to make things happen. They're finding those loopholes, or maybe not entirely legal loophole, but they're making it happen. But if you look at all these people who have been involved and they've been affecting change for, years, a decade, they were doing things illegally back then. They could have gone to jail. They could have been caught just like anybody else. They're heroes. They kept it up even though that there was a danger to themselves. And I find that...
Someone had to risk their ass for us to enjoy this freedom.
They did. Without a doubt, they did.
Sure. To start cannabis businesses and, even just kind of deal with the state of affairs, or to even plug in politically. I mean, there's just so many things that you can get involved in.
Absolutely. And I think people are entering at all kinds of different levels. They're entering in a business. They're just coming in. At the Women Grow meetings, we have people who are thinking about, starting a business, or who just want to see what cannabis is about and what's going on in the community. And, and then you have people who are actually in businesses. And, it's incredible. The connections and the network and the support, is one of the things that I find so incredible, because in any other industry, you get people together, there could be some competition there and it becomes a little bit hostile. And I feel like here it's very supportive.
It's a lot more open with cannabis. Yeah, I've even seen people who have competing products hanging out in the same store. There's no fist fights.
No.
In fact, sometimes they're even just they're even conversing and brainstorming with each other. Wouldn't be surprised if these guys come out with, basically another improved reinvention.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
That's
yes.
one thing I do like about Cannapreneurs is they seem to be a lot more inventive and they cooperate.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I took the name Syndicate is because I'm an anarcho-syndicalist.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know what that means, but I kind of believe in anarchy.
Okay.
So I only believe in creating like a business relationship with somebody that I really want to. I don't believe in a boss. I don't believe in anybody really telling me what to do. As a professional, I usually know what I need to do.
Sure.
And I'm usually better at it than half of my bosses.
Well, you're an adult. You should be able to deal that way.
Exactly. And this deal, and an anarcho-syndicalist deals with a syndicate, a group of people coming together to do, usually they've been labor organizations from the past.
Okay.
And in particularly, these people usually get rid of a greedy corporate CEO that's bigger than a union. The people working the business are the owners.
Okay.
So it's well beyond a union. It's more like a collaborative LLC.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I like the whole cannabis things, because a lot of people are doing this anarchistic thing where they're just kind of getting together in an organic fashion and just doing it.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes it's not even all that structured. Someone's like, well, you know, I'm a lawyer. Someone says, I'm an IT guy.
Right.
Other guy's like, well, I'm in the media.
Right.
Other people can grow, you know, and we've got people working on genomes here. We're breaking into some hard science now.
Yeah, it's neat to hear different people and to see like the overlap and, you know, that you're doing something similar but different is exciting.
It is.
That the rest of the country, you know, is looking at us and we need to be the example.
Exactly. Let's
You know?
lead.
Absolutely. Good to meet you too.
Thank you very much, Anne-Marie, and Women Grow.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Anne-Marie.
Pleasure.
good to meet you.
Come on, you can't stop from the top. Come on, you can't stop from the top. Come on, you can't stop from the top. You can't stop from the top. You can't stop from the top.
Doom dak doom dak doom doom doom.
Doom daka doom daka doom doom doom.
A doom dak doom. A doom dak doom.
A doom dak doom.
Oh my God, I'm peeking!
Man, I doubt it.
Wow.
I love cannabis.
Okay. My name is Brittany Rohr. I work for CannabisCheckout.com, and our tagline is the only secure cannabis network.
Are you in operations right now? I wasn't quite sure if it was a business that was coming or a business that's currently in business.
We are still in our launching phase. We're still finishing up a couple features. The majority of the actual site is up, so it's usable. We haven't really been focusing on social media or anything yet. We will be doing that next week. But for now, it was more of getting the users and getting people to know who we are and what we do.
Where are you based out of?
Based out of Las Vegas.
Excellent. You're working from Las Vegas, and are you launching this with a national market in mind?
Yeah, nationally.
So what is the specific demographic of who you're going after here?
Well, our goal is to actually not just focus on dispensaries and users as our competition. What we're trying to do is we're trying to let everybody use the community space to network. So who we're targeting is dispensaries and delivery services. So they can actually put their pins on our map and advertise to their direct clients. But we also advertise vendors as well. So that would be like home and commercial growers, people who do packaging, concentrates, edibles, all of those things. People who want to just do wholesale to other businesses. So that way the dispensaries can actually find the products that they're looking for when they want them and when they need them. And the vendors aren't calling every single person they know trying to disperse their product.
Is it safe to say this is an exchange platform? Is that what you're going for?
Correct.
Okay.
A trading. Patient to patient.
And where is your role in this? Are you just providing the online portal, or are you actually playing a brokerage role?
No, just an online portal. We're literally an advertising service.
Okay, so that's the business model, is you're selling your space to advertisers to make money, not on a per transaction.
Correct.
And how long have you been in business?
We've been developing the site since about January, but we are just now finishing up the site now.
6 months or maybe a little longer?
Sure, yeah.
Whose idea is this? Are you the founder and creator?
Yeah, so basically I used to be a performer, and I used to do contortion and all kinds of aerial acts, but I also have low blood pressure, and so basically I lost an artery in my neck, and I get migraines. So I started to get my card about 3 years ago, and so I grow here in Nevada. And basically from there, it was like I grew extra product because I didn't realize how much I would need, and so I needed to do patient to patient. And there's not really a place out there to be able to do that, and so I realized that, hey, this is something that nobody's done yet. And then I started realizing all of the other issues in the websites that are out there currently, so I started making large lists of what could be, and so that's when the development started.
So you started as a patient yourself and then organically
Correct.
grew it into a business to help other patients.
Correct.
Did you say you're a contortionist?
Yeah.
Like you bend yourself all around and put yourself in a box type thing?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I've never heard anybody say that before. But does that come with a lot of injuries and pain over the years, or is that something you're just born with and that's the way it is?
No, you actually have to work at it. It's definitely not something that just comes to you. I mean, some people are more naturally flexible, but for those of us who aren't, we have to work very hard to get there. I didn't even realize I actually had a low blood pressure issue until I was contorting, and that's when it happened. I lost that artery, and I got a huge migraine, and there was nothing that would stop it. They tried all kinds of medications, and every single thing they tried gave me horrible side effects and didn't work. So then when I moved here to Las Vegas, a friend of mine let me try hers, and all of a sudden my headache went away. They had no side effects, and I was like, oh, everything I've heard in the news is wrong.
Before this incident, you were not a cannabis user.
Correct. I was part of the opposite side because I had been told all my life that it was a horrible, horrible thing. And so once I tried it and I realized that it was not, it really pushed me on this passionate role.
And that's when you started to think of ideas of how to be more involved from a business standpoint and try to make a living out of it. Hopefully, right? Hopefully everybody's...
Yeah.
Are you working alone in this venture, or do you have a team of people with you?
I have a small team.
Of just like sales, marketing, infrastructure type?
No, I have a couple other people who work with me on R&D, research and development, and then I also have an IT team as well.
Okay. Do you come from a IT background or a web-based business background?
Yes, I used to work for a software company called Chip Technologies, and we used to develop tablet applications for software.
Okay, so you're familiar with the area, even though prior to this you were doing something different. You're still familiar with the area. Have you started other businesses before, or is this your first venture?
Technically, I did have a pole dancing studio back in Florida. I was a champion pole dancer, and so I opened up a studio to teach other women how to do fitness, and it worked out pretty well. That's why I moved here. I was supposed to be in Cirque du Soleil, but then I had all these medical problems that kind of creeped up, and so I had to take a step back. But this, obviously, everything happens for a reason, so I feel like I moved here to Vegas to be able to meet the right people and be able to try the new things, and now I have a whole new company.
How are you going about the startup of this from a financial aspect? Are you self-funding through credit cards and savings? Are you working with investors?
Self-started, self-funded savings. Lots and lots and lots of savings.
So you have everything on the line. This is it for you.
Yes. This is my life. This is my all.
Are you working towards outside investors and outside money, or are you trying to keep it very organically self-funded, self-upstart?
I'm trying to keep it self-starting, self-involved. I don't want to go to investors, but I don't have to. As long as the business starts to grow in the next few months, I won't have a problem at all. If it takes more than a year, I may have to look for outside investors, but I do have a couple who've already shown interest, so it wouldn't be a big deal to find them. I just don't want to have to obviously if I don't have to.
Is there any barriers to being in Las Vegas versus one of the more friendly states like Colorado or Washington with the type of business you're doing?
I would probably say yes, but it has given me a really interesting perspective, which has helped me to develop the software to be more usable in all the states and not just the ones where it's legal.
Is there a plan to relocate to one of the more open states, or are you feeling pretty confident Las Vegas is a great place to headquarter?
I think that Las Vegas is not a bad place at all. I was very unsure when I first moved here, but actually the people here aren't as bad as everybody thinks, and I have a lot of friends here, and I still do teach, and I still do perform, so Las Vegas is a home for me. On top of that, all of the places that do have more legally free marijuana, you also are in colder environments, and I don't do very well in the cold, so unless it changes a little bit more, probably going to stay.
Well, I mean, Colorado does have over 300 days a year of sunshine, just like California. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's why our solar programs work so well also. But I was just in Las Vegas myself just a month ago, and I really liked what they've done with the downtown area, how Zappos has really contributed to the reformation of that downtown area. And I think it's a model for how other cities and inner cities could redevelop themselves. I was really impressed with how that whole area in the downtown has really changed these last, 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's very nice now, and it's very artistic.
Yeah, I actually said, wow, here's an idea we should steal, especially the using the storage units as the storefronts and then blocking them together like Legos and making a little inner park community right in the middle of the downtown area there. That's a great idea. And that could be so easily built just about anywhere. I could easily see myself opening a store there, maybe a dispensary or a studio, and having a cannabis community built in the same manner, just using those storage containers and then making a circle.
Right.
Great place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I like Vegas.
I would even say that it would be a good idea whenever you're looking at like next year. We should be legally recreationally as well. So that might be something you should look at. A lot of visitors here.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully my show will continue to grow and I'll have the option to think about a bigger geographic reach myself of maybe having some different studios around. But going back to you and your product, cannabischeckout.com, what is, I guess, in 2015, I mean, there's only so many things you can do by yourself. What's the big goal for this year, the big leap you're trying to make to launch this company successfully?
I would say getting all of the different businesses that can advertise to know that they have the ability to. The really cool thing that makes us different than all the other sites out there is that we allow other cannabis businesses to advertise to their target clients. And so most people don't realize, but right now on Weedmaps and Leafly and all the other sites out there, you only can advertise dispensaries and doctors. We've done is we've added smoke supply stores, grow supply stores, websites even. I don't know if you've been to quite a few of the cannabis events, but they always have tons of people trying to sell their accessories and things like that, but they usually have websites.
Right.
And they have no real place to advertise. And so what we've done is we've created a pin that goes in every single city on our map. So no matter who logs in where, they're always going to be seen. So even they have a place to advertise. And so basically I'd like to have everybody who knows that they could advertise just know that we are available and that they could network on our site. That would be my goal.
And how are you reaching out to these businesses? Are you calling them, emailing them, going personally to their businesses?
All three. I've been very busy with trying to get the site finished, so I haven't really had a chance to make all of the phone calls and all of the emails and all of the personal visits. But what we are going to be doing in the next few weeks is getting out there and getting all of those people to have emails and phone calls, and again, personal visits as well. To
introduce them to the site and the advertising possibilities.
Networking as well. That's a really cool part about our site is we really want networking. We want people to be able to connect with other like-minded people.
Right. And is that part of the advertising, or is that what people are doing on the site and then the advertising accompanies that? Are they doing something else on the site in the first place, or are they going there to find these businesses and deals and advertisements?
It's a combined. We have a platform that's dual, so you have business to business and also business to consumer. So the people who just want to network with other businesses would be considered a vendor, and their account is much cheaper normally. But basically, what that would be is if I was a smoke shop, then I would want to have a website on my site to be able to advertise any specials or any new product, anything that I think that would be a accessory that somebody who did do cannabis would be able to use. So I would be able to advertise on there. Since
you mentioned it, what are some of the advertising rates that you're looking for to sustain your business? Can you give us some price ranges?
Sure. For dispensaries, it's $1,050 for a year, and that breaks down to about $87 a month, which is much cheaper than anybody else out there. Then we have vendors, which is $250 for the year. And then any of the other ones, which would be professionals, includes doctors, lawyers, and cannabis consultants, smoke supply stores, and grow supply stores. Those are all $100 a month, no matter how many months they do. That gives them time to come onto the site, network, obviously show their products as well. Websites are completely different. Those are individual basis.
You're going to separate it from the mobile to the desktop?
Sorry. Websites are the website pins. So the people who have those booths at the cannabis conventions, if they want to advertise to the entire nation all at one time, they have those ones. Sorry, website pins.
Cool. Very cool. Well, I'm looking on right now, and I see you already have some daily deals up. Are these placement things, or are these actual deals that are in place?
Those are deals that are going on in Vegas right now. Vegas, we do have some people on our site using it, and so we basically use the daily deals to show in all of the states so that we know what's going on our site. But those deals are only available in Vegas.
Yeah, $175 for Blue Dream. That's reasonable. 20% off. Cool. Very nice. And how are people responding to you when they advertise?
We have an average of 1,500 hits a day right now.
Nice.
With no real advertising. This is just word of mouth.
Are you seeing these mostly local? Or?
Mostly local right now, but obviously as we get into other cities, then they're going to be national.
You know, what is your risk factor? Are you willing to take on large debt to expand it, or are you more of a patient person that waits for revenues to come in and then use the money from the business?
That's a really interesting question. I have taken on a little bit of debt in order to do this, but I would say that I'm willing to risk it all. If I did need to go further into debt in order to do more, in fact, we already have a year out full of updates, so we're not even close to finished technically. Those are already being started now. So yes, we're willing to go even further into debt to make this happen. My hope is that we don't have to, but yes, that is the goal. We make the site amazing and completely new age for this community.
Are you doing this while trying to work another job at the same time, or is this your main gig that you're doing right now?
This is my main job. I do a couple other little things like consulting, and I teach aerial as well. But yeah, this is my main thing.
How many hours a week would you say you're putting into this business?
That's a good question. On most weeks, I put in probably about 60 hours. Not including my other jobs, but then I have a couple weeks where I'll have bad migraines, so here and there I can't control that, so that's why I work really hard on the weeks that I can, and then on the weeks that I really have migraine issues, then I have to take a step back and let it go.
Do you do 7 days a week, or do you try to schedule yourself work time versus non-work time?
Well, I used to do 7 days a week, but my pups are not very happy about that. So I have been recently trying to change that a little bit. So if I do work 7 days a week, then I still have a few hours with them every day. They like to go in the pool. Yeah.
I mean, I struggled with this myself of when do you stop working versus, when are you on the clock? And doing a large part of my business from home, it's very difficult because it's right there. The computer's right there, always right there. And you're usually always online. Yeah. So it's difficult for me. So I'm always curious to hear how other people kind of structure their lives professionally and personally to make things successful so they don't burn out or just run themselves and everybody around them into the ground before they've had a chance to really build that traction.
I honestly think that it's passion that keeps me going. I have a very high amount of passion for this business. And so every time I'm sitting around not doing anything, it's hard for me just to sit and not do, something for my passion. I'm not really sure if I could get burned out per se, because if you're passionate about something, it's very difficult. You have to really overdo it in order to burn out, I think. And I think you found the same thing because you're very passionate about what you do. I think that's probably what keeps us all going.
Right, especially when financial returns don't come in immediately, and it's hard to really project when exactly gainful financial rewards are going to come. I guess passion is just that magic carpet you have to keep riding on. What is the one thing that you would give anybody else, not just entering the cannabis industry, but entering an entrepreneur venture, a small business startup, an idea they're trying to take action on? What is the one thing you could really pass on to somebody else to say, if you remember nothing else about going into business, remember this?
That's a good question. There's so many.
You can have more than one.
Yeah. Okay. I would say your idea has to be sound. You have to be answering a problem in the market. That was what took me into the next level, I would believe. Also, you have to make sure that you have enough funding in order to complete that project. Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs go into something thinking, oh, I'll just get it up and going and then I'm okay. And I don't have any plans on if I need the extra money that I can get it. I think with my situation, I have already lined up investors in case I need them, which is extremely important in this industry especially. Again, answering a problem in the market.
Great. I mean, those are all great points, especially the money one. I think with the technology and web applications being so cheap and next to free, there is the misimpression that you just get yourself a free WordPress account, put together your website, put a description of what your product is, use the checkout they have on the website, and there you go. People will start buying your idea. But I don't think people realize how much pennies stack up to dollars, and those dollars stack up to, I no longer have any money in my bank account. It goes pretty quick. Which is why in your position of trying to really use your own funds and your own financial resources is probably even more nerve-wracking than somebody who's been able to get somebody else's money to support them.
Right. Well, that's the thing with our system. I mean, it's not like a little WordPress site you just throw up on there and it's good. Our people have been working on our site nonstop. Full-time for many, many months. And so it's one of those things where people don't realize that when you do a website, it could be a lot longer than, in fact, it's almost always a lot longer than expected. And so if you don't have the funds available to be able to push yourself through the longer times that you're not expecting, you really could put yourself into a hard place.
Oh, yeah. And programmers don't come cheap. And I can imagine the logistical nightmare of what you're actually trying to put together with a mapping system. Just thinking about where that begins is already more expensive of a venture than I would want to get into myself, just because I've seen other types of companies try to build apps based on these very technical logistics and mapping and, pinging people. And it's, oh man, you're right. Years can go by of development before you even get close to product launch. And that unfortunately is just way out of my resources for products. But I admire your ability because you're coming from, I think, a different standpoint where you were a patient and the patient led you to wanting to help other patients. And that's where you found the need to develop this product. So I think it's truly coming from a great place of intention and motivation. Your passion is going to come through in really making people use your product as a useful, functional tool rather than just another app that's floating out there on the App Store for somebody to download.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing it with us, because there's so many businesses and so few places where people actually have an outlet to talk about their business, at least from a cannabis standpoint. I mean, I'm sure if you were doing a taxi service or some other type of app, there would be maybe more outlets of where to talk about your business and promote your business. So, I mean, I'm really grateful that I get to, meet people who have all these great business ideas, and I get to learn about all these businesses firsthand. And then hopefully somebody in my audience will hear you talking about it and feel just as inspired to maybe take that risk themselves and start a business in cannabis, hopefully, that becomes successful and makes this whole cannabis community just a little bit better. So,
that's our goal too.
Right. Yes, absolutely. So what is the best way? I mean, right now you're pre-launch. Do you want people going to the website, or do you want to wait? Do you want people going to the Facebook? Where do you want to send people?
Well, technically our site is up and it's usable. So I'd like people to go to the site. Emailing us is obviously the best thing because we have, like I said, an IT team waiting to help, with any problems that may occur. So yeah, I mean, definitely go to the site and check it out. We are working on a landing page right now to make it a little bit more user-friendly and a tutorial, because our site does contain a lot of complex tools. And so we are trying to make it easy to navigate.
Let me have you give the actual website and Facebook so people hearing can just type it right into their browser. If you want to give your website, social media, and contact information.
Sure. It's cannabischeckout.com. In Facebook, you can search Cannabis Checkout. And on our email, anything at cannabischeckout.com will go right to my email. So you can go sales@cannabischeckout, anything you'd like.
Well, I appreciate your time, Brittany. This is one of those products I want to keep a watch on so I can watch it develop, and then once it gets fully developed, use it myself, because I'm an active user of cannabis from all aspects. So if there's advertising of products, I'm there. If there's products to be bought, I'm there. So please stay in touch. Make sure to connect with us just as well so we can keep up with your updates. And you're always welcome to come back on in the future and tell us about where you're progressing, what's new, any developments that have happened, or just drop in and say hi to the Cannabis Community Project.
Thank you. Is there any way that you could maybe even just say a little bit more about our security? Because that is our tagline, and that was like the biggest push.
Oh, okay.
Right now, there is no other site out there that actually cares about the security of their clients. And that's the one thing that really drove me to make sure that we did. And we have multiple levels of security put in place in order to protect our clients. The fact that we have, it's what's called stealth mode. So basically what that does is it hides the businesses from the general public. Right now, I know in Las Vegas especially, and I know in Arizona especially as well, but the law enforcement are targeting weed maps and Leafly to get the information of those businesses and trying to entrap them. And so what we've done is we've created a stealth mode where any business can hide themselves from the general public and only be visible to our verified users.
There we go. So
yeah.
we don't have any hackers releasing your emails. Although I don't know if being exposed as a cannabis user is the same as being exposed as an Ashley Madison user, but security online is still a very important issue as far as privacy goes.
One of the major parts of the security issues that are current is if the federal government went to Weedmaps or Leafly and asked them, subpoenaed them for their information, they would have to give it to them. Our security even goes as far as our servers that hold any personal information or anything that could be criminalizing is actually overseas. So we don't have extradition issues.
Okay. Does that create a different type of security issue, though?
What do you mean?
Well, being overseas, meaning the U.S. government may not be able to subpoena you, but do you have control over what's going on over there with your information and the servers and the companies managing that?
Yeah, it's my own company. I have a new company.
Oh, okay. So it's something you founded overseas.
Correct.
Oh, that's an interesting story. You didn't bring that one up before. That's an interesting.
No, I'm trying to explain that was a security thing. I'm trying to show people that we do care, and we are putting in lots of different levels of security for their benefit. We even have a block feature on our site. Right now in Vegas, I've heard multiple people say, and multiple dispensaries have had issues with their patients, either A, becoming problemsome, or they pull out a gun and try to rob them, or things like that. They're just really bad, and they found them on Weedmaps. What we've done is we've actually created a block feature so the dispensaries, businesses, and users can block businesses and users from seeing their company or any of their products.
Nice.
So if they have a problem, they won't have that issue again.
I love the idea of being anonymous. I wish there was a way to walk down the street and make yourself anonymous also in public. Mm-hmm. But being online is just as good, I guess, in that sense.
Can be.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like an expensive feature, and I can kind of see where the money could get tied up in creating that type of IT infrastructure. But I really like the idea, the ambition of creating your own overseas, was it just a server holding company? Is that like an office building with a server in it somewhere?
Pretty much. It's basically it's called data mining. Literally means that they just hold data. So
that's very cool.
They don't have anything to do with the business. They just hold the data.
And can you talk more about it, or are you trying to keep it kind of hush-hush?
Kind of keeping a hush-hush, yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, well, no, I'm just very curious about that. I would just like to know more. Maybe on an off-air conversation you can tell me more sometime.
Sure.
As a person who is recently into the cannabis industry, how do you feel when you interact with people in the world? Do you tell them what you do? Do you tell them who you are and what you're involved in? What is your standpoint on that?
Absolutely. I don't feel like there's anything to hide, especially since I had both sides. Initially somebody who was on the other side. And so I know exactly how to explain it to them to where they realize that this is not something that they should be afraid of or demonize.
What does your mom think about this?
My mom has always supported me in anything I choose to do. I told you I used to do pole dancing competitions even, and she went to every single competition. Family is extremely supportive.
Not awkward at all.
Right.
Do you have kids or anybody you have to explain this to?
No, I don't have any children.
Okay.
I do want children, though.
And then one day you'll explain to them a whole different scenario than what we grew up with in the messaging around this industry.
And, I really do think that this is going to be part of the community as soon as it gets legalized. The future of using cannabis for medical purposes is so vast. When the research actually starts to happen, I think we're going to start seeing article after article after article of what this can actually help.
Absolutely. I have kids, and I'm upfront with them. I talk to them. I'm direct with them. I don't hide it just as much as I don't hide it when I drink a beer or watch an adult movie that I tell them they can't be in the room for. Not that type of adult movie, like just a rated R, just a rated R type, an action movie or something like that.
Right.
I don't try to put it into a dark closet. I make it just part of life and everything else. I always want to hear what people, just feel around the subject. I'm always curious to know what people's moms think about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
My mom was born in the age of, go out and do Woodstock. I think that there's a lot of older people out there that do understand. They just don't want to talk about it because they still think it's demonized.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, this has been very interesting, a very informative conversation, and something that I think other people are going to be quite as intrigued about. I wouldn't say that you're going to get overrun with people checking out your website for me, but I would say maybe keep an extra server on or two.
Sounds good.
And
thank you very much for your time as well and your exposure. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next time I come out to Vegas, which is usually a few times a year, maybe I can swing by the offices and do some interviews in person.
Sounds great.
Very great. All right. Well, make sure to connect with us, Cannabis Community Project, Facebook, Google, Twitter, all the same. And I'll look for you and connect with all your sites. And then let's stay in touch so we can keep doing future type follow-ups and stuff. Have you part of the community.
Sounds great. And I'll save your number in my phone, too.
I'm in the phone book now. All right.
Uh-oh.
Cool. All right. Have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.